Hi everyone, I will start a complete guide of Oracle Replication Cluster 19c lab setup. I have listed all the main points that I will cover during my upcoming videos, so it can be easy for you to follow and understand each point. Besides that, those steps will save you time if you follow. So I put those points in a notepad, as you can see here. Yep. So here the main point for us, it's our main goal is to reach a RAC 19c lab setup. So the first point, we need to discuss lab prerequisites. So here you can see what's the prerequisites. If the prerequisites fulfill for you, and you can continue to the next step, so you can continue the video. The virtual box overview. Here I will show you how I will discuss the main component of the virtual box, how we can manage the virtual network, and how we can set up also NAT. I will show you during this point how we can set up NAT to reach the internet from the guest operating system or the virtual machine operating system. The virtual disk management and also host only, it's related to the disk and network. I will have an overview for the virtual box based on those components. Then I will move to operating system installation. After that, I will move to disk preparation. This is for Oracle binaries, because I segregate between the operating system disk, virtual disk, and the Oracle binaries virtual disk. Then I will move to Oracle prerequisites for installation. These prerequisites, we can install them or grab them from the internet using the Oracle online repository. I will show you that once we reach this point. Then I will set up the cluster network, including the DNS. After that, we will clone the first node, which is this operating system we installed, to configure the second node using, once we clone it, we change the network and this stuff. Also here I will show you how we can do this in detail. Then we will move to the create an ASM shared disk. We will configure it and mount it for both nodes. Then we will set up grid infrastructure with ASM. I will batch this to 19.15 immediately, otherwise we cannot configure the shared disks using filtered ASM filtered drive, AFD. So you need to have the batch to continue this one. Then later on we will move to the database installation. This database installation includes software only and database cluster database creation. Then I will move to batch the database. Once we finish the installation, I will batch the database and show you how we can batch the database to 19.15. Then I will move here to show you how we can configure the services for cluster. So how we can start the services, stop the database, start the cluster, stop the cluster, and those things I will show it. Just basics, at least you have an idea how you can configure and at least how you can stop and start the cluster in a healthy way. Now I will move to the first one, lab prerequisites. We can see here we have the requirement or the prerequisites. So those requirements should fulfill to be able to continue with me this lab setup. First, we need to have an Oracle Linux 8.5, the Oracle 18.3 grid infrastructure, and then also we need Oracle 19.3 Oracle database. Then also we need Oracle grid and database RU 19.15. This is mandatory to have the Oracle 19.3 grid infrastructure ASM to be able to configure on 8.5 Linux. That's mean this is the 8.5, which is release 8 update 5. It will not it's not let's say it's not verified, or you cannot install it direct here to this version. You need to batch the grid infrastructure to be able to configure the ASM disks. Then we need, of course, the virtual disk, the virtual box. Then a VBox network should be host only or intra network. I'm using here intra network, but if you want to use host only, subnet should be, this is for intra connect for cluster network 10.10.30. Okay, and for NAT subnet, this is a public. I use 10.10.20. The virtual machine resource allocation for both nodes should be the same, 8 GB VM RAM and 25 GB OS VM disk and 20 GB grid and database binary VM disk, 4 cores, 2 virtual network interface cards. First one is private, the second one is public. The same for the second node because we will clone it. Shared disk, here we will use as a virtual SAN. We need 40 GB ASM shared virtual disk. You can give more. I am give here the minimum. You can give as much as you can, how much you have enough resource on your computer or on your machine. Here we have 2 nodes, 2 NICs, 2 network interface cards. But for production, if you are working this for production, we need 4 NIC for redundant and fault tolerance in case if one NIC failed. So we have a multipath to keep the high availability working on that production environment. 2 network switches. Here I'm using 2 virtual switches, but in real life you need 4 switches, 2 of them as a redundant or fault tolerance. Let's say if you have one switch is have a faulty or any cause, so you can have the other one take the care of connection. Of course we need a DNS. So this is the main points, and I have this document. I will upload it also to GitHub, to my account. You can find it there, and see you in the first video. I will discuss how we can configure the NAT in VirtualBox. See you there, and thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.